Jake Miller wiped the grease from his hands and looked out the window of his maintenance bay. The space station Haven Point floated above the planet Kepler 442b, and through the thick glass, he could see the massive alien repair facilities that surrounded his small operation. Their sleek buildings gleamed with perfect metal surfaces and flashing lights. Ships came and went from those places every few minutes, handled by robots and computers that never made mistakes. His own maintenance bay looked tiny next to them. The walls were painted a faded blue, and some of the equipment had been repaired so many times that it held together more with hope than with proper parts. But it was his, and he was proud of it. Lisa Parker was under a small cargo ship, fixing its landing gear. Her legs stuck out from beneath the hull, and Jake could hear her muttering about cheap alien parts that broke too easily. She had been working with him for 3 years now, and she knew more about fixing things than most people twice her age. Sam Torres sat at his workbench, carefully examining a navigation computer that had started giving ships wrong directions. His dark hair fell over his eyes as he concentrated, using tools that were older than he was but still worked perfectly. Sam could make any two pieces of technology talk to each other, even if they were made by species from opposite sides of the galaxy. Tom Brady, their newest crew member, was learning how to calibrate a sensor array. The young man asked a lot of questions, but he learned fast and was not afraid to get his hands dirty. Jake remembered being that eager when he first started working on ships. The comm system crackled to life. Haven Point control to all maintenance facilities. We have an emergency. The Zephyrian military cruiser Starwind is requesting immediate docking. They have critical engine failure and are losing power fast. Jake looked up from his work. Zephyrian ships never came to human facilities. They had their own advanced maintenance bays that could fix anything. Their technology was so good that other species tried to copy it, usually without success. All automated facilities are reporting that they cannot handle Zephyrian military specifications. The voice continued. The ship is requesting permission to dock at Maintenance Bay 7. That was Jake's bay. He felt his heart speed up. A Zephyrian military ship was about to dock at his small, simple maintenance facility. This is Jake Miller at Bay 7, he said into the comm. We can take them. Are you sure about this, Jake? Lisa had rolled out from under the cargo ship and was looking at him with concern. Zephyrian tech is way above our level. If we mess up their military ship, they could shut us down forever. We won't mess up, Jake said, though he felt less confident than he sounded. Sam, Tom, get over here. We have work to do. The Starwind was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. It was 3 times longer than any ship Jake had ever worked on, with smooth curves and surfaces that seemed to shift color in the light. As it docked, Jake could see scorch marks along one side where something had gone very wrong. The airlock opened, and Captain Vextar stepped out. Zephyrians were tall and thin, with pale blue skin and large eyes that missed nothing. The captain wore a uniform that looked like it had been made from liquid metal, and his expression showed exactly what he thought about being forced to use a human maintenance facility. I am Captain Vextar of the Zephyrian Defense Fleet, he said in perfect English, though his accent made every word sound cold and formal. My ship has suffered damage that your primitive equipment cannot possibly repair. I am here only because the automated systems refuse to accept my vessel. Jake stepped forward. I'm Jake Miller. This is Lisa, Sam, and Tom. We'll take good care of your ship, Captain. Vextar looked around the maintenance bay with obvious distaste. Your tools are ancient. Your diagnostic equipment is basic at best. How do you expect to understand technology that is centuries ahead of anything humans have created? Well, Jake said calmly, why don't you show us what's wrong and we'll see what we can do? The captain led them into the Starwind. The inside of the ship was as impressive as the outside, with walls that glowed softly and controls that responded to the slightest touch. Everything was perfect and clean and beautiful, but Jake could hear something wrong. It was a tiny sound, almost too quiet to notice, but it was there. A slight vibration that should not exist in a perfectly tuned Zephyrian engine. They reached the engine room and Vextar pointed to a large panel covered in alien writing. The quantum coupling matrix has been damaged. Only Zephyrian facilities have the proper equipment to recalibrate such advanced systems. Lisa knelt down next to the panel and listened carefully. Then she pulled out her scanner, an old human device that looked clunky next to the sleek Zephyrian equipment. "Jake," she said quietly, "you need to see this." She showed him the scanner display. Jake was not an expert on Zephyrian technology, but he knew what stress fractures looked like, no matter what species had built the part. "Captain," Jake said, "your quantum coupling has a microfracture. It's tiny, but it's there. If you had flown to one of the automated facilities, their computers would have fixed the obvious damage and sent you on your way. But this fracture would have grown bigger with each jump. You would have made it maybe 2 or 3 more flights before your entire engine exploded." Vextar stared at him. "That is impossible. Our ships do not have hidden flaws. Our technology is perfect." "Your technology is amazing," Jake agreed. "But no technology is perfect. Everything breaks eventually. The question is whether you find the problem before it finds you." Lisa was already taking apart the panel, her experienced hands moving carefully around the alien components. "I can fix this," she said. "It'll take a few hours, but I can fix it." The Zephyrian captain watched in silence as the human mechanic worked on his perfect ship with her ancient tools. 3 hours later, Lisa had the Zephyrian quantum coupling working perfectly. Captain Vextar tested his ship's systems twice, then tested them again. Everything worked better than before. He said nothing as he prepared to leave, but Jake noticed. He did not seem as angry as when he had arrived. The Starwind had just undocked when the emergency alarm started screaming throughout Haven Point Station. "All ships and stations, this is Haven Point Control." The voice over the comm sounded panicked. "We have a Class 5 solar flare incoming. All automated systems will be shut down in 10 minutes to prevent damage. This shutdown will last at least 6 hours. Jake looked out the window and saw ships everywhere. Dozens of alien vessels were docked at the big automated facilities getting repairs and maintenance. When those facilities shut down, all those ships would be stuck. "Jake," Sam called from his workstation, "I'm getting distress calls on every frequency. Ships are asking for help." The comm system came alive with voices speaking in different alien languages. Jake heard panic in all of them, even when he could not understand the words. "This is the crystalline freighter Ice Dancer," one voice said. "Our power core is unstable. We need immediate assistance or we will lose life support." "Tenthari science vessel Dreamseeker to any station," another voice called. "Our biological systems are failing. We have 30 crew members who need help. Corvin warship Blood Thunder requesting emergency docking. Our weapon systems are overheating. If they explode, they will take half the station with them." Jake felt his stomach drop. His small maintenance bay was about to become the only working facility in the entire sector. Ships designed by species he had never worked with were asking him to save them. "Lisa, Sam, Tom," he called. "Get ready. We're about to have company." The next few hours were the most challenging of Jake's life. The first ship to dock was the crystalline freighter Ice Dancer. Crystalline technology was completely different from anything Jake had seen before. Instead of metal and circuits, their ships were made from living crystal that grew and changed shape. The power core looked like a giant diamond that was slowly turning black. "How are we supposed to fix this?" Tom asked, staring at the alien power system. "I don't even know what I'm looking at." "Same way we fix everything else," Jake said. "We figure out what it's supposed to do and then we make it do that." Sam knelt down next to the crystal power core and held up his scanner. "It's generating energy, but something is blocking the flow, like a clog in a pipe." Lisa looked at the crystal structure carefully. "Jake, this looks like mineral buildup. It's like when pipes get clogged with calcium deposits." Jake nodded. "Can we clean it?" "I don't know what will dissolve crystal buildup," Lisa said. "We don't have the right chemicals." Tom suddenly spoke up. "What about coffee?" Everyone stared at him. "Coffee?" Sam asked. "My dad always used coffee to clean mineral deposits off his tools," Tom explained. "The acid in coffee dissolves calcium buildup." It was crazy. It was completely against all proper maintenance procedures. But they were running out of time, and the Ice Dancer's crew was counting on them. Jake made coffee. Strong, black coffee. Then he very carefully poured it over the crystal power core while Lisa monitored the energy readings. The coffee dissolved the mineral buildup immediately. The crystal began to glow brightly again, and the Ice Dancer's power systems came back. Online, the crystalline captain was amazed. "You fixed our ship with a human beverage?" "Sometimes the simple solutions work best," Jake said. The next ship was even more challenging. The Tenthari science vessel Dreamseeker used biological technology. Their ship was part machine and part living organism. The life support system was actually a series of plants and animals that worked together to clean the air and water. But something was wrong with the biological systems. The plants were dying, and the animals were getting sick. Lisa examined the failing biosystems carefully. "This looks like an infection," she said, "but I don't know how to treat alien biology." Sam was checking the ship's environmental controls. "The temperature and humidity are all wrong for these organisms," he said. "They're designed for a completely different environment." "Can we change the environment?" Jake asked. "Not easily," Sam replied. "We would need specialized equipment that we don't have." Tom was looking at the sick plants with curiosity. "These look like the plants in my mom's greenhouse," he said. When her plants got sick, she used to seal them in plastic bags with wet towels to increase the humidity. Jake looked around the maintenance bay. They had plastic sheeting for covering equipment during messy repairs. They had towels from the break room, and they had hot water from the coffee machine. Working together, they created a temporary greenhouse inside the alien ship. They sealed the biological systems in plastic, added hot, wet towels to increase the humidity, and adjusted the lighting using portable work lamps. Within an hour, the plants began to recover. The animals started moving around again. The dream. Seeker's life support systems came back online. The last ship was the most dangerous. The Corvin warship Blood Thunder had weapon systems that were overheating. If those weapons exploded, they would destroy the ship and probably damage the station. Corvin technology was built for war. Everything was heavy, armored, and designed to survive in combat. But that also meant their cooling systems were powerful and efficient. "The cooling system is working," Sam reported, "but it's not enough. The weapons are generating too much heat." "We need to cool them down fast," Lisa said. "But how?" Jake looked around the maintenance bay. His eyes stopped on the drink refrigerator in the break room. It was not designed to cool weapon systems, but it was designed to cool things down quickly. "Tom, help me move the refrigerator," Jake said. They disconnected the drink refrigerator and wheeled it over to the Corvin ship. Sam rigged up a connection between the refrigerator's cooling system and the ship's weapons. It worked. The weapons systems cooled down, and the danger passed. By the time the solar flare ended and the automated facilities came back online, Jake had saved 3 ships and dozens of alien lives using coffee, plastic sheeting, and a drink refrigerator. Word of what happened began to spread very quickly throughout the galaxy. 3 months after the solar flare emergency, Jake's maintenance bay was busier than ever. Ships arrived every day, but not because they had to. They came because they wanted to. Jake watched a beautiful Andromedan pleasure yacht dock at his bay. The ship was painted in colors that changed as it moved, and it was clearly very expensive. The automated facilities could have serviced it perfectly, but Captain Terralyn had specifically requested the human maintenance bay. "I don't understand it," Lisa said, checking her work schedule. "We're booked solid for the next 2 weeks. Half these ships don't even need repairs." "They're coming for the experience," Sam explained, looking up from a Rigelian transport ship's navigation system. Word has spread through the trade networks. Alien captains tell stories about the humans, who fix impossible problems with coffee and refrigerators. Tom was learning to work on a Volcari mining ship. The aliens who built it had 6 arms and saw in different colors than humans, so their controls made no sense to most species. But Tom had figured out their logic by watching how they moved. "The Volcari captain says human maintenance is an art form," Tom said. "He's never had anyone explain to him how his own ship works before." Jake smiled. That was true. Most automated facilities just ran diagnostics and replaced broken parts. They never took time to explain what they were doing or why. The alien crews learned nothing from the experience. But Jake's team was different. They talked to the alien crews, asked questions about how their ships worked, and shared what they learned. Many aliens had never seen their own technology from a human perspective before. The comm system buzzed with an incoming message. Jake recognized the voice immediately. "This is Captain Zara Quinn requesting permission to dock at Maintenance Bay 7. Jake's heart sank. Zara had been his rival at the academy, and now she ran the biggest corporate maintenance chain in the sector. Her facilities were state-of-the-art, with the latest equipment and fully automated systems. She had always believed that humans could never compete with alien technology. "Permission granted," Jake said, though he was not happy about it. Zara's ship was sleek and modern, with the logo of Quinn Corporate Services painted on the side. She stepped out wearing an expensive business suit and carrying a tablet computer. "Jake," she said with a fake smile, "I had to see this place for myself. The reports I'm getting don't make sense." "What reports?" Jake asked. "Ships are choosing your little operation over my facilities," Zara explained. "My automated bays can service any ship in the galaxy. We have equipment worth millions of credits. We can complete repairs in half the time you can. But somehow alien captains are making detours to come here instead." Jake shrugged. "Maybe they like our work." "That's impossible," Zara said. "You're using equipment that's 20 years old. Your tools are basic. Your methods are completely unscientific. There's no way you can compete with modern automated systems." As if to prove her point, a small alarm sounded from the Andromedan yacht Lisa was working on. The ship's AI was complaining about something in a musical language that sounded like singing. "The AI says the quantum stabilizer is out of alignment," the yacht's captain explained to Lisa. "It wants to know if you have the proper calibration equipment." Lisa looked at her simple tools and then at the complex alien device. "I don't have quantum calibration equipment," she admitted, "but I can tell when something is wobbling." She held up an old-fashioned level, the kind construction workers used to make sure walls were straight. She placed it on the quantum stabilizer and watched the bubble move slightly to one side. "Your stabilizer is tilted," she told the captain. "Let me fix that." She loosened a few bolts, adjusted the stabilizer until the bubble was perfectly centered, then tightened everything back up. The ship's AI stopped complaining and began playing happy music instead. Zara stared in disbelief. "You fixed a quantum stabilizer with a bubble level?" "It was tilted," Lisa said simply. "The AI could tell something was wrong, but it couldn't tell what. Sometimes the old tools work better than the new ones." Over the next few hours, Zara watched Jake's team work. She saw Sam create a custom interface to help two incompatible alien systems communicate. She watched Tom figure out why a Centauri cargo ship was using too much fuel by listening to the engine and noticing that it sounded tired. She observed Jake himself spending an hour talking to a nervous young alien pilot, explaining exactly what was wrong with his ship and how to prevent the problem in the future. "This is insane," Zara muttered. "You're running a maintenance bay like it's a school and a restaurant and a counseling center all at the same time." "Is that bad?" Jake asked. "It's inefficient," Zara said. "My automated systems can process 3 ships in the time it takes you to service one." "But do your customers come back?" Jake asked. Zara paused. The truth was, most of her customers only came back when they had to. They used her facilities because they were convenient and fast, not because they enjoyed the experience. "The crystalline captain from the Ice Dancer stops by every few weeks," Jake continued. "Not because he needs repairs, but because he likes to see what we're working on. He brings us crystal formations that help power tools work better. The Tenthari from the Dream Seeker taught us about biological systems. Now we can help other ships with biotech problems." "You're learning from your customers," Zara realized. "And they're learning from us," Jake said. "That's the difference between fixing ships and helping people." As Zara watched, Captain Vextar's ship, the Starwind, docked at the maintenance bay. The proud Zephyrian captain walked directly to Jake. "Miller," he said formally, "I require your services again." "What's wrong with your ship?" Jake asked. "Nothing," Vextar replied. "That is precisely the problem. My ship runs perfectly, but I want to understand why. I want to learn your maintenance philosophy." Jake smiled. I'd be happy to teach you. Zara left without saying goodbye, but Jake noticed her ship stayed in the area for several more hours. He suspected she was studying his operation, trying to figure out how to copy it. But Jake knew she would never understand the real secret. It was not about the tools or the techniques. It was about caring more about the people than the profits. 2 weeks after Zara's visit, the announcement came over every comm channel in the sector. The Galactic Trade Federation was holding the first ever maintenance excellence competition. The winner would receive the official certification to service all Federation ships. This is it, Zara said when she called Jake. A fair test. No more of this primitive nonsense. Real maintenance facilities using proper procedures. Jake looked around his bay at his old equipment and his small crew. What exactly is the competition? They've built a test ship, Zara explained. It's been deliberately damaged with problems from 12 different species technology. Whoever fixes it fastest and most completely wins. My automated systems will show everyone what real efficiency looks like. The competition was held at Haven Point's main docking facility. Thousands of aliens came to watch. Jake had never seen so many different species in one place before. The test ship was huge and strange. It had parts from every major species in the galaxy. Zephyrian quantum engines were connected to crystalline power systems. Tenthari biological computers controlled Corvin weapons. Human navigation systems tried to work with Rigelian sensors. It was a nightmare of incompatible technology that somehow functioned as one ship. Competitors have 48 hours, announced the judge, a formal Altarian with silver skin and 4 eyes. You may begin when the signal sounds. There were 6 teams competing. Zara had brought 3 automated diagnostic machines and a crew of technicians. The Zephyrians had a team of their best engineers with perfect tools. The Corvin team looked like they could repair a ship in the middle of a battle. The Crystalline team brought equipment that looked like art. The Tenthari team included actual living computers. Jake's team looked very small and ordinary next to them. When the signal sounded, all the other teams rushed to their diagnostic equipment. Scanners and sensors examined every part of the test ship. Computer screens filled with data and analysis reports. Jake walked slowly around the ship with his hands behind his back. He was listening. What are you doing? Tom asked. Listening to what the ship is trying to tell us, Jake replied. Lisa knelt down and put her ear against the hull. There's a vibration in Section 3, she said. Something loose. Sam was looking at the connections between different systems. Half of these interfaces don't make sense, he said. It's like someone connected a bicycle to a rocket ship. That's exactly what they did, Jake realized. This isn't just a ship with broken parts, it's a ship that was never designed to work in the first place. While the other teams focused on finding and fixing the obvious damage, Jake's team started looking at how the different alien technologies were supposed to work together. The Zephyrian engines are trying to send power to the crystalline systems, Lisa reported. But the power frequency is completely wrong. It's like trying to charge your phone with lightning. Can we fix that? Jake asked. Not with proper equipment, Sam said. We'd need a frequency converter that doesn't exist. Tom had been quiet, studying the power connections. What if we don't convert the frequency? He asked. What if we change how the crystal systems receive it? Sam looked at Tom's idea. That's crazy. You want to modify crystalline technology to accept Zephyrian power? No one does that. Why not? Tom asked. If it works, it works. Jake smiled. Do it. By the end of the first day, the other teams had found and repaired most of the obvious problems. Their diagnostic equipment had identified every broken part and replaced it with perfect components. But their ship still would not work properly. Jake's team had only fixed 3 obvious problems, but they had spent most of their time making incompatible systems work together. They created hybrid interfaces that did not exist in any manual. They modified alien technology in ways that no one had ever tried before. This is highly irregular, the Zephyrian team leader complained. They are not following proper maintenance procedures. They are breaking more things than they fix, agreed the Corvin team leader. But Jake could hear the difference. The ship was starting to sound right. On the second day, disaster struck. The crystalline team's diagnostic equipment detected a hidden problem that no one else had found. There was a slow leak in the life support system. It was so small that it would take weeks to become dangerous, but it was there. "We have found a critical safety issue," the crystalline team announced. This ship would kill its crew during a long journey. The other teams immediately began looking for the leak with their advanced equipment, but their scanners could not find it. The leak was too small and too well hidden. Jake's team had been ignoring the life support system because their scanners said it was working fine. But when they heard about the leak, Lisa decided to check it anyway. "I don't trust scanners," she said. "I trust my nose." She crawled through the ship's air ducts, sniffing carefully. In a corner where 3 different alien life support systems connected, she smelled something wrong. "Found it," she called. "There's a tiny crack where the Tenthari biofilters connect to the human air recyclers. The crack was so small that no scanner could detect it. Only human senses could find it. But that was not the end of the surprises. When Sam examined the crack closely, he made an amazing discovery. "This crack wasn't caused by damage," he said. "It's a manufacturing defect. Someone installed this connection backwards." Jake looked at the connection. It was clearly marked with alien writing that showed which way it should face. But the writing was backwards from human logic. "To us, this looks upside down," Jake said. "But to them, our way probably looks upside down." They fixed the connection properly and sealed the leak. When time was called, all 6 teams had repaired the obvious damage. But only Jake's team had found the hidden leak, and only they had made all the incompatible systems work together smoothly. "The Geo winner," announced the judge, "is the human team from Haven Point Maintenance Bay." The crowd of alien spectators cheered loudly. Jake realized that most of them had been hoping the humans would win. 6 months after winning the competition, Jake barely recognized his maintenance bay. What had once been a small operation with 4 people had grown into a training facility that covered half of Haven Point Station. Alien engineers arrived every week to learn what they called human maintenance philosophy. Jake found himself teaching classes to species he had never seen before. Yesterday, he had shown a group of Centauri mechanics how to listen to engines. Today, he was explaining to Rigelian technicians why sometimes the simple solution was the best solution. "The key is not to overthink the problem," Jake told his newest class of students. "Technology is complicated, but problems usually have simple causes." A young Zephyrian engineer raised her hand. "But our diagnostic equipment can analyze thousands of variables at once. How can simple observation be better than advanced scanning?" Lisa answered from the back of the room. "Because your equipment tells you what is wrong with the parts, but we look at how all the parts work together. A ship is not just a collection of components, it's a living system." The students were mostly aliens, but there were also humans who had heard about Jake's methods. Corporate maintenance companies were sending their best people to learn why alien captains preferred human-operated facilities. Sam had become the expert on making different technologies work together. His workshop was filled with hybrid interfaces and custom connectors that allowed incompatible systems to communicate. Aliens from across the galaxy sent him their most difficult integration problems. "The secret is not to force 2 systems to be the same," Sam explained to a mixed group of students. "The secret is to help them understand each other's differences." Tom had surprised everyone by becoming the best teacher. His enthusiasm and willingness to ask basic questions made him perfect for working with students who were learning human methods for the first time. "There are no stupid questions," Tom told his students. "The only stupid thing is pretending you understand something when you don't." Jake's favorite part of the new facility was the observation deck. Alien captains could watch their ships being repaired while learning about the process. Many of them had never seen their own technology explained in human terms before. Captain Vexistar had become a regular visitor. The proud Zephyrian officer now spent 1 day each week at the facility, learning human maintenance methods. "I do not understand how this works," he admitted to Jake one day. "Your methods should not be effective. You use primitive tools and ignore proper procedures. Yet your results are superior to our advanced systems." "That's because you think maintenance is about fixing broken things," Jake replied. We think maintenance is about understanding living systems. Ships are not alive, Vextar protested. Aren't they? Jake asked. They move. They consume energy. They respond to their environment. They have complex systems that work together to keep them healthy. When something goes wrong, they show symptoms. That sounds alive to me. Vextar considered. So you treat ships like patients instead of machines? Exactly, Jake said. And just like patients, every ship is different. What works for one might not work for another. The biggest surprise came when Zara Quinn arrived with a proposal. Her corporate maintenance chain wanted to partner with Jake's facility. I was wrong, she admitted. I thought efficiency was the most important thing. But I've lost half my customers to operations that use your methods. What do you want? Jake asked. I want to license your training program, Zara said. My facilities can learn to combine automated efficiency with human care. Jake shook his head. You can't license caring about your work. Either you care or you don't. Then teach my people how to care, Zara said. Jake thought about this. I can teach techniques and methods, but caring comes from inside. Your people have to want to do good work, not just fast work. The real proof of Jake's success came when the Galactic Trade Federation made an official announcement. All Federation maintenance facilities would be required to include human-trained personnel and human maintenance methods in their operations. The human approach to maintenance has proven superior in both safety and customer satisfaction, the announcement stated. Human methods will become the new standard for all certified facilities. Jake stood on the observation deck and watched ships coming and going from his facility. Alien captains waited in line not because they had to, but because they wanted the human touch. They wanted their ships treated with care and attention, not just processed through automated systems. Captain Tara Lynn from the Andromedan yacht had become a friend. She stopped by every month, sometimes just to talk about her travels. You have changed everything, she told Jake. Before, maintenance was something we endured. Now it is something we enjoy. You make us feel like our ships matter. They do matter, Jake said. Every ship has a story. Every captain has dreams. Our job is to help those dreams keep flying. Lisa joined them on the observation deck. Jake, we have a problem, she said with a smile. We're booked solid for the next 6 months. Alien captains are making reservations a year in advance. That's a good problem to have, Jake replied. Tom appeared with a report. The Corvan Defense Fleet wants to contract us to train their entire maintenance corps. The Crystalline Trade Union is asking us to set up a facility in their home system. And the Tenthari Science Council wants to study our methods for their research archives. Jake looked out at the galaxy beyond the station. Somewhere out there, alien maintenance crews were learning to listen to engines instead of just scanning them. They were learning to treat ships like living beings instead of just collections of parts. They were learning that caring about your work made all the difference. You know what I think? Jake said to his team. I think we're just getting started, Sam laughed. What's next, teaching the entire galaxy how to fix things? Why not, Jake replied. The galaxy is full of broken things that need fixing, and broken things need someone who cares enough to make them work again. As if to prove his point, another ship appeared in the distance, heading straight for Haven Point Maintenance Bay. Jake could not tell what species had built it, but he knew one thing for certain. Whatever was wrong with that ship, they would figure out how to fix it. They always did.